Hey loves, welcome to The Quick Tip,
I'm your host, DeJada.
and I'm Camesha, and we are a part of the team at Sister Afia Community Mental Wellness in Chicago. The Quick Tip is a podcast where we discuss relatable topics in Black women's mental wellness.
We provide thoughtful reflections, quick tips, and leave you with some things to take action on to improve your mental wellness.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quick Tip Podcast. This is your co-host Camesha.
And I'm DeJada.
And we are here to recap season 3 of the Quick Tip Podcast. We had 2 series within season 3, which was our social support series and our Black family series. We had so many powerful conversations and also guest experts that shared their perspectives on those different topics. So, DeJada, what was like the episode that gave you the most aha moments?
I would say I got a lot of aha moments from all of them, just like self-reflection wise. But I think the one that tugged at my heartstrings the most was supporting Black girls' mental health with Chanel, because I am working through childhood traumas and learning to give people grace, and I'm healing, and it made me cry. And I think that's why I was just like, if I had to like rank them, I would say attachment styles was another one. I think I was just really excited about that because I'm doing a lot of shadow work or just a lot of introspection, and it helped me identify my attachment styles and all of my like primary and important relationships that I have with people. So those two. How about you?
The episode that gave me the most aha moments was actually our first episode, the overcoming loneliness and making friends as an adult. Through preparing for that episode and then also like through our conversation, I realized like how deep loneliness is and how it's just affecting so many people in different ways. And that episode, I was like, oh, okay, like these are maybe ways that through Sister Afia we can help people to combat loneliness. There's actually an organization I didn't mention in the episode called, I believe it's called Social Creatures, and it's in New York, but it helps people who are differently able to move out of isolation and loneliness. And I know the executive director of the organization, but it's really cool. But it just, that whole episode, like just exploring everything with loneliness gave me just so many aha moments that I was like, okay, like this is something that should be focused on, and it's really impacting a lot of people.
I would say that's the one that hit home for me the most, because I think that's what the pandemic really impacted my social skills. And I feel like I've always been, since then, I've been anxious and going out with people. Like I'm thinking about the worst things that can happen or them not liking me. I'm just like overthinking social situations. But after, I'm like, if I'm talking about it, I have to do it. And so just putting myself out there more and being more open to going to events, even though they are typically events I wouldn't go to, and just getting out more, because that's the only way to make friends. You can't make friends staying inside. What topic hit home the most for you?
Hit home the most for me, I would say the generational curses, generational blessings. That really hit home for me because I'm big on family. Like to me, the order is like God, family, significant other, and so on and so on. But that is something that I'm really like passionate about. And as I've gotten older, I'm so interested in exploring my family. So like my aunt Maxine, she passed away in December. And a couple years before she died, I recorded her life story. So yeah, so I have like hours of audio of her just talking about growing up in Southern Illinois and the things that she faced as like a Black woman and her journey with like marriage and really just finding herself and her identity, and also like the love that she had for like everybody in our family. And so when she was alive, she pretty much told me the whole family history. And now that she's gone, I'm like, okay, I want to do something. I want us to have a family reunion again. I want us to be, you know, together and connected. And so the topic of generational blessings and generational curses is something that I'm like actively working on, but it's also something that I like, you know, I'm really, really passionate about.
And the fact that you have a recording is so is so much stronger of a connection with your family, because like that's something that can be again passed down, and your kids won't only hear your verbal story of their great Maxine, you said her name was.
Mm-hmm.
They know her voice now. You know, they'll be able to hear her voice through the recording, and they can hear the emotion she had. You know, it's from that's genius. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And what were some of your takeaways from the social support series?
That a community, a village, it's vital. Like there's no life without being connected to one another. Even today, like in this day and age, I feel like community is as important as anything else. It's number one priority, especially with so many changes, political changes. So like affirmative action no longer being, or you know, included in something that's included in like a college process. You don't get, you know, benefits for extra benefits for being a Black woman because you are already at a disadvantage. And just having those type of changes happen, we need to stick together. You know, now places are not going to have specific departments for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's like, okay, this is where minorities gather. Minorities from disabilities, race, no matter what made you stand out, is just like now a place that you were able to call home at a university or a workplace no longer exists. But we do not need these institutions to give us that. We can give
Nope, not to validate us. We don't need it. Mm-hmm.
yes, we can give ourselves that, and that's something that I want to remind us, is that we create our own communities. How about
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I second that. And you know, I was thinking that when all these decisions, all these laws are being passed, and I said to myself, I don't need a law to validate who I am, my intelligence, all these different things. Not to ignore the impact of it,
Mhm.
but it goes back to our communities. And one thing that my grandmother talked about, because she grew up in segregated DC. Some people forget DC was segregated, but it was. But she talked about like how because of segregation, the Black community, we was all we had. So we built community, built institutions, built relationships all with each other because that was literally all we had.
Mhm.
And that I think these decisions really highlight that again, you know, and America is American, you know, so we're not surprised, but it's still definitely impactful. And from the social support series, the same thing, like relationships. I think really throughout the whole podcast this season was all about relationships, and those we need them. We
Mhm.
need them to survive. And I also just enjoyed talking about hobbies
Mhm.
and sparking that interest again, because I think everybody can benefit from a hobby, because we need to work another side of ourselves outside of just doing work and tending to, you know, our families and different things like that.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed like that episode of talking through, these are some things you can do. This is how you can be really, really engaged in different interests that you have.
For sure. I would say my takeaways from the Black Family series is that change can start with you. Not saying that you have to flip your whole family map upside down and fix everything, but like something so simple as I mentioned in a different episode, it's like all you need is a seed. You can plant any seed. You choose what seed you plant and allow that to grow and allow your family to eat off that tree. Change starts with you. Again, something so small, something that you are capable of doing can allow generational blessings to be passed on. Yeah.
Yeah. From the Black Family series, I think I just felt a call to action, especially after all of the guests we had. April talking about Black parenting and maternal mental health, Eva talking about Black single mothers, Chanel talking about supporting our girls. Like, after talking to them, I think I became even more passionate about doing what I can to support mothers and Black girls. Like, that was like my main takeaway, is like that there is more that needs to happen and more that we can do.
Yes. And honestly, Black family doesn't even have to be your blood family. Like, I recently went to Jamaica and I went with my son, and there were times where we were on the plane and my son's crying and the flight attendant was like, I'll take him and walk up and down the aisle with him. I say, what? Or we're outside and he wants to run around and the resort staff was like, oh, it's fine. Enjoy your drink. Because I'm like running around with him trying to ensure he doesn't get into other things. And they're just like, we'll help you out. And it's just out of genuine, like, just take a rest. We see you. Like, you don't have to do this. You have support. You have a village. That's why I'm like, I want to move to Jamaica. People look at you crazy, like, don't let that boy run around like that. But it's like, family doesn't have to be blood. It's a village. It's a community. So I just wanted to remind us of that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Kinfolk, we've done a great job. How many people do we call our sisters? It's not our blood, our auntie, that connection with the Black family extends beyond our blood. And I appreciate you bringing that up. So you all, season 4 drops October 8th. And we're going to be we're going to have 2 series, one focused on self-care and self-worth. And then we're going to be talking about Black women at work. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please join us for our season. It will start on October 8th. And if you did not listen to all the episodes in season 3, go ahead and rewind, listen to them again, or share them with other people, because we had a lot of great conversations, information, and we built, community amongst ourselves on the podcast. So thank you all for tuning in. Take care of all of you and be well.
Be well. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Quick Tip Podcast with Sister Afia. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram and Facebook at Sister Afia. Join us for one of our upcoming groups, classes, or workshops, and sign up for therapy if you're an Illinois resident at www.sisterafia.com/services. And if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We greatly appreciate you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.